So keep it real with me, fellas. When you wake up in the morning, are you actually thinking about the impact of your image? Are you being conscious of how you're about to step out? Well, if you're like most guys, you're probably not. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of being conscious of your clothing and how to do so. What's up, all you good fellow fly guys? You know what it is, the Cat in the Hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michelangelo of StyleArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this lifestyle thing. And today, we're going to be talking all about how to be more conscious in your clothing. So at the end of this video, you're going to understand how different dynamics are actually going to influence your image. And if you are aware of these things, how they can be that much more impactful. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Yo, this is a great time for you to be here to start really understanding how to be more present in your presentation and how to be more influential in your image simply by being conscious of it. Now, if you don't know anything about me, which you probably don't, why would you? It's your first time here. Then let me just give you some insight. I have been in the menswear industry for over 10 years. I've actually studied psychology and sociology for the last 5 years, and I've helped hundreds of men through advice and through just personal development and image consulting really find the alignment of their image and their identity. And that's what I want to do for you. So if it sounds like something that you would be interested in, please consider subscribing. I would love to be a character in your lifestyle story. If you have already subscribed, like Dapper Coach, Mr. Maxwell, 007, Big Story UKA Productions, Dan 805, Magnanimous, Mr. Whetstone, Matt Rent, and Keith Buck, been a minute, has some catching up to do, then you know I appreciate you. And now all you have is one more thing left to do, and that is hit that notification bell, and that way you will be notified each and every time new content comes out. So I know it's been a little while, and I'm actually going to be talking about why that's been in a future video, but I wanted to give you a little piece of this. Part of the reason why we had put Style Speaks to the side was because I wanted to make sure that I was being hyper-focused on what I wanted to convey for you guys. And what that is to make sure that we are providing the whys and not just the how-tos on personal style. Now, we're not going to bend the how-tos or what to purchase and all those different types of things, but I wanted to be intentional about why we're doing these things. And part of that came from a gentleman named Charlie Hopert, who has the channel Charisma on Command. He's one half of that channel. I'll leave info so that you can follow him. He's a great dude. And one of the things that he did that was so creative was he began to insert pop culture references into how social airs and social dynamics work. And so I wanted to do the same thing for style while still providing a directional step-by-step process that you could develop your own personal style with. So that is why we wanted to make sure that we are refocusing those different types of things. There are going to be conceptual videos like this one that are going to be how-tos, but there also are going to be different elements that you can kind of just have some fun with while there's still something deeper in the meaning. So with that being said, what does it mean to be conscious of your clothing?
I don't know.
Well, when you're getting ready in the morning, you have 20 other things that you're worried about, whether it's an unfinished product, trying to get into, traffic and get to work on time, or, knowing that you and your boss got static, any one of these different types of things. And oftentimes the last thing that you're thinking about is your clothing, but that's oftentimes a dangerous thing for you to do. The reason being is you're only spending about 2 hours, even in traffic, each way in your car. You're only spending about 6 to 8 hours in your house, but you're spending almost 24 hours in your clothing. And that clothing is representing you. It is going to be the thing that is either going to reinforce or contradict your character.
That's ridiculous.
And so it's important that you are conscious when you wake up in the morning and you're going through your closet trying to figure out what you're going to wear, to be conscious of your clothing. So how can you do that? Well, the first way that you can do is to think about where you're from. Now, before we continue, I want you to put the city and state that you are from in the comment box. Now, you may be from the West Coast, you may be from the East Coast, you may be from down south, and within those different types of spaces, you may be from LA or San Diego if you're on the West Coast, or maybe San Jose or the Bay if you're up north, or maybe even from Seattle. Or if you're from the East Coast, you may be from Miami in the South, or you may be from New York or Jersey or DC, or you may even be, if you're in the South, from Texas, like me, right? And so all these different types of spaces are going to have different cultures with them, different things that are associated with them, and those things are actually going to influence your image, whether you believe it or not. I have a client of mine that I'm working with, and his family's from the West Indies. So for him, he always finds himself wearing this nice wooden necklace that he got from his parents, because it's a representation of his West Indian heritage. And so these little things can help you reinforce your style, add a little panache in certain situations where you have to be a little bit more conservative, and will tie you back to your understanding of self. And that moves us into the second thing that will help you be more conscious of your clothing, and that's what influences you. Now, for most guys, that's social media. That is going to be what they are reading in fashion magazines, and that may be their peer group. But I would challenge you to take a look inside. Think about the things that actually are of interest to you. Is it old classic movies? And think about the characters that you may like in those movies. Is it art? Is it music? Any one of these different types of things can be more influential in how you're moving. And once you are aware of these different types of things, then you can start seeing them show up in your personal style. So think about how these little subconscious things can help your style be more influential. Lastly, the way for you to be more conscious in your clothing is to think about where you are going, right? So if you are a fan of Gary Vee, much like myself, then you know that Gary Vee speaks about clouds and dirt.
Mindset and execution, clouds and fucking dirt, motherfuckers, clouds and dirt.
Do you understand the clouds, the mission, where you're going, the reasons why, and do you understand the dirt that creates the diamonds that we all strive for?
This is how legends are made.
Now, Gary Vee wants to buy the New York Jets, so he is going to be an owner. Now, he's probably going to revamp what the image of that ownership looks like, but he is still working day to day to get to that bigger goal. Well, in the same way, if you're trying to be the next Warren Buffett, if you're trying to be the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Gary Vee, start thinking about how those guys present themselves. Warren Buffett looks very different from those two other CEOs, and there's a reason for that. He's in finance. He's in a very conservative type of consulting firm that he manages with a lot of older guys. So if you're going to be a guy on Wall Street, then there is a certain uniform that's going to be associated with the identity that you are putting forth. Now, if you're a social creative, just depending on the different types of spaces that you may be in, there's a different way that you may dress. But look for the people who influence you and start seeing how they are presenting themselves in every situation, whether it's casual, professional, or social. And then you can begin practicing those different types of presentations. See, I don't want you to fake it until you make it. I want you to begin practicing it until you become it. Before I get up out of here, if you found the information beneficial, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I mean, it happens. And make sure that you share this with a friend. I guarantee you that there's going to be a guy in your social circle who is looking to be more impactful in their workspace, in social spaces, or even in their relationship, but they're not taking on this very important element of their life. Make sure that they are being more conscious of their clothing, and I guarantee you they'll see a lot of those different types of situations turn around. And lastly, don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, yes you, should always dress to express. I'll see you next time. Peace.